Hey there, gang. Patrick King here, and I want to thank you for tuning in for episode number 51 of Talking About Horses. Today, I'm pleased to be joined by Dominique Barbier. Born in France in 1950, Dominique Barbier began his equine career at a Jesuit school in Poitiers, and at the age of 15, attended Crabbett Park Equestrian Centre in West Sussex, England. In 1972, Dominique returned to England to attend the renowned Tolland School of Equitation and attained his British Horse Society instructor designation. For the next 8 years, he sharpened his riding skills at a number of highly regarded facilities throughout Europe, following various disciplines including show jumping, three-day eventing, dressage, and steeplechasing. Dominique then based himself in Portugal for 2 years to study with the legendary Nuno Oliveira, a name you hear come up quite often in these podcasts. Here, his riding skills were enhanced by perfecting his mental and physical attitude. This experience was a defining moment that inspired Dominique's belief in keeping a horse light and happy. In Portugal, Dominique purchased 3 Lusitano stallions that he trained to the high school level. Moving to the US in 1976, along with these 3 original Lusitano stallions, Dominique quickly became a sought-after clinician. His time with Nuno Oliveira formed the foundation of the teaching that Dominique continues to offer today. Since immigrating to the United States, Dominique's teaching and passion for the art of dressage has reached many thousands of people throughout the country, as well as North Africa, Europe, Asia, and Brazil. His avant-garde philosophy, focusing on the fundamental importance of mental communication and the understanding of the horse's nature, has evolved and matured over 45 years. Dominique is the author of many books, including Dressage for the New Age, Dressage Training Companion, Meditation for Two, and he co-authored The Alchemy of Lightness. He's also produced several DVDs. He offers unique and refreshing perspectives and philosophies, as well as insightful and incisive training techniques that remain true to the best traditions of the classical past, while providing a comprehensive foundation that will change the way you ride forever. Dominique, thank you so much for joining me here on Talking About Horses.
You are welcome. This is a pleasure. Did you hear me? Yes? I said this is a pleasure. I think you froze.
Electronically meet you in this way.
Here you are. Good.
Ah, there we go. It looks like we have maybe a little bit of a connection challenge.
Yeah. Yes, a little bit, but not much. I still hear you.
Perfect. Good, good, good. And it looks like everyone else is hearing us as well. So that's great. So tell us a little bit, Dominique, about your story, about growing up, about what got you, why horses?
Why horses? This is a good question. Why horses? Well, when you are young and you are not sure about what to do in life, like most kids in the Jesuit school, as you said, in Poitiers, the chance of you becoming a horse person is kind of a minimum. And I had the chance with my dad that helped me to, as you say, go to England and go to France. We had the method of compagnonnage in French, which meaning that you find a different teacher and you stay with him for 3 months or 6 months and you learn what he was doing and then you move on to something else. Therefore, I did about 12 years of all that and I just really enjoy very little of it, to tell you the truth, because there was a lot of things taught that were pretty hard. They were pretty mechanical and not very proper to the horses. Therefore, I learned a lot. I learned a lot of things that I did not want it to do, but that's the way you learn.
Sure.
And then after that, I just try to understand what motivate people to do what they do. A lot of ego involved, a lot of political thing involved, a lot of stuff going on into the horse world. Mm-hmm. And then I discovered the mystery that I wanted to come to see him for many, many years. And I had this 2 years with him down there. That was actually the title of my last book, was my 2 years with the mystery in Portugal. And what happened there was very decisive for my life. I I still live from those 2 years and what I learned there. For it was a very significant meeting with the mystery. Very significant. And then I had my 3 horses as you say. I actually had 7 of them that I bought, and some of them, all of them, I brought to France, and I tried to bring them to Chicago. Afterwards, few of them could not make it because of the pyroplasmosis, and then few of them made it, and I arrived in, as you say, in '76 in Chicago, and then I very quickly moved away.
You didn't like the winter, huh?
Well, it was the winter '76 was known. I think the main sewage in Chicago froze.
Oh no!
You know how to do the work in hand. You know, I remember doing the work in hand with my horses, and the saliva dropping from the horse mouth and hitting the ground as a little ice arrow in the ground. And I said, "That's it. I am going to move." I understand that. And then I moved to Idaho, which is a beautiful place, and I stayed there for about 10 years, and that was really wonderful for me. I was taking care of a barn there. There was a lot of people, and a lot of wonderful people, and I did a lot of work in Idaho. And I managed at that time. There was a lot of foreigners coming into this country to do mostly competition and mostly stuff like this, which I was not interested in. Therefore, I had some wonderful friends and clients there. That was, I had a beautiful barn built for me, 16 stalls, beautiful. I used to ski in the morning and ride in the afternoon. Hallelujah. And I was not married. Can you imagine? That was just some great time in Idaho. It was just a wonderful time for me of carry on learning what I was doing. And after that, I just met my wife, and we moved to California, where I am still here for now the last nearly 30 years, actually more than 30 years. Therefore, that's what it is now. I have to tell you that you are not looking too well there. Your face looks totally not active. But I'm sure you are good on the other side.
Yeah, yes, we're having a little bit of a shaky connection in here.
Yes, I'm sure you're okay. I'm not worried about you, but you look frozen for a little while there. Anyway, that's the story of what I did, and you know, a lot of people refer to themselves with Mr. Nuno Oliveira, like I studied for 2 years. I really never did. I think that I am from the classical, French classical that he taught, but I am a very different person, and I'm a very different, my thinking is very different than what the mystery was. And the era was very different. You realize, or maybe not because you're a young man, but at that time, you could not ask a question to your master. It was a lack of respect to ask a question. Therefore, you had to look at him and write him. I remember at 4 o'clock in the morning, looking at him and looking at him and looking at him, write. And you had to figure it out on yourself. Therefore, it was a very interesting time, very beautiful time. In all this, what is very important to remember is that you are writing the way you are, and it is very personal. Therefore, you start at the beginning by wanting to do movements. You know, you want to know what it's all about for a levad or a passage or a pirouette or this. And then every horse is different, and you have to figure out all those questions. And you are very physical, because when you don't know, you think that more physical you are, the more you can get it, because that's the norm now. Yeah, and I learned to use spurs, and I used to do the whips and a lot of stuff like the Portuguese way. I hate to say that, but it was pretty rough, pretty hard, and I did not like it. I did not enjoy those things, and I try to figure out another way, another approach, in order to truly have a conversation with my horse, and feeling that he was loved and he was not into fear. Most of people use that level of fear to their discretion, and in order to create energy and movement. Well, I sort of refuse that. And I sort of figured out another way to be closer to your horse and more enjoying, and him more enjoying you. Mm-hmm. For that, to me, a complete another way of thinking. And then, of course, time and time come over. Therefore, you start very physical. Then you start to become, especially from the French training, you do less and less. You do less, and your horse give you more, and then you do even less and less and less, to the point that you feel that you arrive to very much nothing. And when you do nothing, that's not enough in the French tradition. You have the descente de main, descente de jambe, yes, which is a very, very, very important thing, and that's what I teach, and very few people teach, because this is a very important way to be in descente de main. You put your hand in the position where you cannot use them. You let your leg go in the position where you cannot use them, and then you expect the horse to stay in the same air, in the same movement. And that's very, very important for as a goal. Is very, very important to know. And then your reward, if I can say that, is that you have a change of consciousness, and changing consciousness with the horses is another world there. Therefore, that's more and more what I am into. I am more and more into lightness for enlightenment. Therefore, it's just really. I hate to say that I don't have too many friends in the horse world doing that stuff. What is he talking about, enlightenment? What is it? Well, yes, it is. At least I think if you better yourself, then you are going to have a better ride. Believe it or not, the other day I saw that the head of the Cadre Noir in France declare that if you analyze yourself and if you are a better person, you're a better rider. Oh, this is fantastic. It took just great. It just took few centuries to do that, but now they understand that this role of being a leader, this horse of wanting to dance but leading the dance, come with responsibility, and this responsibility is compassion, it is love, is enjoying your partner and making his life as easy as you can. And it is difficult to teach, but it's passionate. It's wonderful. I think people who get little nibble of that just say, well, that's what I want to do. And it can be as simple as a walk. It can be as simple as a trot. It doesn't need to be exotic high school movement, passage piaffe and pirouette. Of course, it's better. It is a lot more fun. But in a very normal way of riding horses, the art of riding horses, you have such a great richness and such a pleasure.
Yeah, I love that, and that the way that you talk about it as being an enlightenment, right? I really, really like that way of thinking about it. And when we talk about the descente de main, letting down the hands, letting down the legs, to test to see that the horse will still maintain that. I guess we're proving self-carriage, right? When we're doing that. And that enlightenment that you talk about is a very interesting mental self-carriage for the rider, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's a progression in life. The more you carry on, the deeper you go. And what is beautiful about it is your horses are always there. You think you're doing something great and special. In fact, your horse is always right there with you. So yes, I was there. Therefore, really, the try is not on the horse. The try is actually on us. Yes. Mm-hmm. Believing is very important. And when you are in this descente de main, descente de jambe, the horse will give you the movement and carry on the movement. for that is that's a lot of fun.
Yes, a lot of fun. So in your bio, I read about perfecting the mental and physical attitude. Is this sort of what you're getting at with that?
Well, it's the beginning, if I can say that. The descent de jambe is the end of it. Yes, the beginning is to know what you want, simply being relaxed in your body, and mentally have that picture of what you want. You know, few years ago when I did my dressage for the New Age, it went into visualization. Well, you know, after that went visualization for the golf. You know, the people want to visualize the golf going there, or the tennis, you know, directing the ball, knowing where the ball was going to go, and this and that. And the power of training your body with the visualization was a big part of the mental thinking. This visualization really gives the horse the key of what he has to do. And I believe that horses communicate with picture. And it's a picture with more than a picture. It's a picture with a feeling. It's a picture, it's color. It's the way you want to look, the way you want the horse to look, the way you want to feel, the way you want to feel together. You have that complete experience that you are creating and giving to the horse to watch. And you are going to get it. You are going to see more and more that it's happening.
Yes. Now, what about the riders that struggle to know those things, that struggle to feel those things? You know, we talk about the, you know, pirouette, the piaffe, the passage. If the rider's never ridden that, how do they visualize this idea? How do they get that feeling in their body?
Yeah, well, number one, they need to learn how to walk. I hate to go down the ladder there, but they need to walk. They need to launch their horses to see how the horse walk, the mechanic of the walk. Yeah, they need to see where the horse is comfortable, where the horse is the most acceptable of what the people look and they go there. This acceptance of walking together. Yeah, and then you go through the movement. The shoulder in, the haunches in, and the pirouette, the walk, and all that just build up this companionship, this harmony, this relationship with the horse, where you actually are dancing with your horse at the walk. And then if you start there and do less and less and less, your horse, of course, being on the bit, that's very important, as you know. Of course, the horse relaxing of the lower jaw and the lightness and all that stuff at the walk. Yeah, of course, everything must be there. And then you have the true communication. Now, that very true communication at the walk will start a piaffe in 6 months. It comes from the walk. It comes from this deep connection that you have, where you can, at the walk, as I was talking yesterday, where every step of the walk, one leg move after the other, and you know, and you can feel it. If you feel the walk, you are the head of the game there. Then the trot is just for the rhythm and for the general suppleness and all that stuff, and then you build up on the canter after that. It's enough. But basically, your relationship start on the lunge, start in the working hand, before and after or during lunging, whatever you rearrange things. And when you have that, then you start at the walk. If you start at the walk and the walk is good, then guess what? Have a little trot. And then you build up, you build up, you build up. And really, the passage or the piaffe is only a concentrated straight shoulder in. That's all That's all what it is. You know, we have a lot of chance. I know you go to Portugal and you study with the people over there. We have a great chance that we understand that we can get collection from the walk. Believe it or not, I give clinics in Germany and other countries like this, and they have a hard time understanding, because for them the collection comes from the trot. And of course, if you want to shrink the trot, then you are going to pull on the rein, and you're going to start to kick because you are going to lose it. And then if you are successful, you are going to compress your horse. Therefore, this compression is right there, going to the opposite of the lightness and the self-carriage first, and the lightness in collection. Therefore, you need to start from the walk, and then from the walk build that up. I remember not long time ago, I had this wonderful friend in Colorado called Chris. I don't know if you know Chris Garrett. She's a very nice lady, and she had a sort of a summit on lightness, a little bit what you're doing now with a lot of different people, but it was strictly done on lightness, yeah. And I remember she had like 25 top people around the world talking about lightness. And then I was one of the last one to be interviewed. And we are kind of friends. We know each other for a long time. And she said, Dominique, I don't understand. Those people talk about lightness, but nobody talk about self-carriage. And I said, I am sorry to say, Chris, but if they don't talk about self-carriage, they are not talking about lightness.
Yeah.
Therefore, in this interview that I did on lightness, I was starting by what lightness is not. Lightness is not to have a big, strong bit and have the horse in fear. Yeah, and lightness is not the horse that you don't touch the rein and he's totally in dissolve, as we said, just with the head up in the air and not in balance. And I went on and on about all the stuff that happened. People think, oh, my horse is light, and I say, no, your horse is not light. He is not in the correct position. That correct position, the on the beat position, allow the horse to relax and relax his lower jaw. That lower jaw relaxation will produce a self-carriage. And the self-carriage will give you the lightness, but in that order, not walking or trotting around with the rein floating and say, oh, it is really light today. No, well, it's not light at all. He's just in the wrong position. Therefore, we need to teach the people those very simple or do the simple work at the walk. They need to be softly the bit. And when they are on the bit, you can see in my last book, I talk about, there's no biomechanic of the shoulder. I always go back to this. There's no biomechanic of the shoulder because, as you know, the shoulder are not attached to the body of the horse, but nobody talks about it. They fight about everything else, but they cannot figure out the shoulder because the shoulder are not attached to the body, body-wise, yes? Therefore, they have a big argument about everything. It's like having a big, beautiful Ferrari, and you have two flat tires in front, and you say, hey, have a nice ride. Well, guess what? It doesn't work that way. Now, why we cannot talk about the shoulder is because the shoulder are a great emotional state of the horse. They will show you how emotional the horse is, especially on the side when he's not comfortable. Generally, he will go too fast, and he will be in distress. Therefore, this biomechanic, in parenthesis, of the shoulder, I say, when you lunge the horse, the corner of the mouth of the horse should be at the level of the point of the shoulder. I said that because everybody can see it. What I mean? People say on the bit, what is this? That they can see. Everybody can see. The biomechanic people like to see things. Yeah. Therefore, great. Imagine you draw a line horizontal to the ground and the corner of the mouth of the horse, and then the horse has a possibility to relax his back in that position. Therefore, any time you have a problem, go back to that position. You will find the harmony again that you need, and then you can do something else after that. But that position is fundamental for all the horses, including the black horses with their long, the Frisian, even the Iki, even all the exotic horses, they need to be in that position, and then their body is harmonious and everything works. But if you have something more elevated or more or not on the bit, then you are going to run into a lot of problems. Therefore, I am trying to teach those very basic things at the walk, then at the trot, then of course at the canter. But the canter generally do not too much problem if you walk and trot are good. And then I tell you, after a year of that, the second year, you are going to have a little passage piaffe, or you are going to have a little pirouette, or you are going to have a little movement coming out on his own, the horse giving you the movement. You are away from that banging, kicking, pushing, assault, and all this mechanical stuff that nobody needs anymore. Yeah. Therefore, as you can see, I'm pretty opinionated. I used to blame that on when I was young. I used to say, man, as a young guy, you are really something. Well, I'm still young. I think I just cannot let go of my basic thinking of that.
There you go. I think we call that passionate, right?
That's it. Passionate for the horses. That's what it is. Yes. And then I did wrote this my last book after the 2 years with the Mr. Oliveira. I am in the process of publishing another book now, which is called Broken or Beautiful: The Challenge of Modern Dressage.
Let's talk about that.
Broken or Beautiful: The Challenge of Modern Dressage. I have been, in the business for a little while now, and I've been, seeing how the competition goes and all this, and it's enough is enough. We have to say this is not dressage anymore. This is something else, and on top of it, this is no respect of the rules, and this is sometimes and most of the time abusing horses. Therefore, they have in the world something which is recognized now. You don't give a drink to your horses for 3 days, because it's competition. You tighten the nose with bad, and you bleed them, and you do all those wonderful things that people do to horses, because it becomes a business. It becomes a lot of money involved, and it's sad, and it's ugly, and it's terrible. And guess what? If people don't defend the horses are basically dying. They are basically getting hurt. And also, dressage is not some sort of a freak show. We have some beautiful horses in the world, and they do beautiful movement, but it is not a freak show. This is dancing for all nice people and nice horses together at the beautiful way, at the best of their ability. That's what it is. And
would you say that there's a difference between dressage as a competition and dressage as an art?
Well, this should not be, except that the people don't respect the rule now. If you this is my book. I just started by talking about where does that changes come from. Well, it changes by the non-respect of the rules. Before, you were a horseman. And when you were a horseman, you took care of your horse first. Your horse was the most important thing you do. You were not there to take water away from him for 3 days to fight him. That was not there. And that should not be that. In the rules, most of them, as you will see in my book, they are there to protect the horses. The problem now is we are in a billion-dollar industry where really the people, the FEI, the people who are supposed to keep the rule correctly, are totally overread by money and fame, and the result is horses who pay the price. And I hate to say that, but I have to say it. We have anybody who loves horses has to say, no, don't let that happen. Just reinforce the rules. I have a series of rules that now are not respected, and all the problems come from that. All the problems come from there. The lack of relaxation of the lower jaw, the force contact, the pushing, and of course the whole Volcker thing and the whole attitude of the horse. It's just it's deplorable. It's really not good. It's really not correct with the horse.
Can you take us through some of these rules that are being broken so frequently?
Well, yes, absolutely. For example, if you look at the series, I don't have my note right now, but the series in the book where I see where they stop talking about the relaxation of the lower jaw. That for us it's a brain of the art. It's a brain of being together. If you don't have that, you are going into trouble. Then the acceptance of the contact, the strong contact with the hand. Yes. Now, after that, you had the completely tight shut mouth, yes, with a crank nose band, yeah, and then you have this force attitude of the horse. Before, in the rules, you knew that the frame of the horse should change. Now nothing changed. The horse is stuck in one position, doing exaggerated movement in the front, which has nothing to do with anything. I call it bad Spanish trot because it's badly done. And the back leg are not functioning properly in relation with the front. And the poor people are hanging on to their dear life there. I heard not long time ago that the Dutch people wants to stop having the horses halting at the beginning of the competition. They should come in and start right there. You know why? Because they cannot stop the horses.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Wow.
This is just like aberration, I think. Now they are changing the piaffe. Now they are changing that the piaffe could be done on 3 feet. Well, the piaffe is on the spot. It's not 3 feet. Why? Because again, they can't do it because the compression of those horses in the wrong position create an incredible problems. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, this is a sad state of the modern dressage. Just another simple one. There is rules on the FEI that for a lengthening or an extension, yes, the toes of the horse should be pointed where he lands. Now, the purpose of that eliminate all the tension in the neck. If you are going to have a heavy contact and tension in the neck, those legs are going to go up, like, as I call it, a bad Spanish trot, yeah? And when you judge an extension, look at the back leg. The horse should extend with the back leg. And then if you have a good movement in the front, well, that's nice, but it has to be low and long. And the horse relax about it, yeah? This is in the rule. I didn't make the rule. I don't want to change the rule. I want them to be applied. And now this is, I have good friends a few good friends who are at the high level of the judging, and they don't know what to get out. They don't know what to get out because every time they go out, then it's something politically incorrect happening. And it should not happen that way. But again, because of the horses becoming a millions of dollar object, people don't care. And in the training, how many people die? How many horses die from bad thing because of that Volker thing and that forcing? It's not natural. It's not the way it should be. You have to read and understand the rules. And the judges who are supposed to know are there to enforce. And sadly enough, they are not. Right. Therefore, it was not a happy book. I can tell you that much. It was a book just for people to know where the problem comes from. That means if you are a young trainer or a young person and you want to understand what's happening now versus what was happening before, then you know step by step what went wrong. And it's a kind of it's not very pleasant right now. Therefore, I am not young anymore. Therefore, I can talk a little louder. I still talk louder. I never changed my loud voice, but it's true. More people should be loud about taking care of the horses, defending the horses. And there is no space for abuse, for international abuse of horses, telling it's dressage. No. Now, there's a lot of solutions they can change, which I don't think they will, but they should have another word, another name, call it competition dressage.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Competition dressage, and then you say, okay, now an extended trot, you can have the front leg going like this. You don't need to change the head. You have a 4-beat canter for your pirouette, no problem. 4-beat canter, no problem. You can have all those rules to help the horses doing what they want to do and what they are doing. But don't pretend this is classical. Don't pretend this is dressage. It's not. It's not. Therefore, I am trying to defend a little bit of the horses and a little bit the art of riding, the art of enjoying the horse without forcing. That's my goal.
I love it. I love it. So I'm going to go back to something you just said there,
Sure.
that talking about the horses, saying that's not classical. And that's something that's actually, it's popped up in several of these interviews that I've been doing in the last couple of weeks. How would you define classical when it comes to dressage, when it comes to the horse?
It's a very good question, because a lot of people talk about classical, and I'm not sure they know. Classical.
It seems to have become kind of a buzzword, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's something that everyone's using to put it on a business card.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, classical, you need to have the chance to have some teachers who are classical. What does that mean? Classical music, okay, you play an instrument and they give you a music, and then you have to know how to read the music, yeah? And if you read the music and you know how to play, then you can play with your friend who have the same music note, and then it's classical. It's a language that you can understand each other in music or in dance or in everything. Classical means that there's certain rule and regulation and order of things that exist for good reasons. And that's where you learn. When you're a young person, you learn what are those reasons one by one. Yes, it's very important. Right now I had a little book called the manual there, which is very simple little thing, but you are in order. You have to know what you are doing in order to create something. In order is very important. Therefore, when you're a young person, you have to go and say, learn one by one what it means, how to read the notes, how to play with your instrument, how to understand the rhythm of that particular music, yes, and the change of rhythm and all those things that makes music, the silence between the notes. You have to learn all those things, yeah, and that's classical. Now, it is very rare, and I hate to say that, but it's very rare to have the chance to have teachers that teach you that. I had when I was a young man, I was very young, and I had a man, adjutant chef Perra, who was in Coët-Quidan. He was from the Cadre Noir, and he was a wonderful person. He used to ride his horses at the walk for 6 months at the walk. At that time, I was too young. I did not understand. We were joking. So the old man can't trot anymore. He can't canter. He's walking all the time. But after 6 months of that, he used to put his horse in Grand Prix in about 20 days, because he knew what to do at the walk to prepare the whole work. Classical. He was also, you know, they used to do racing. They used to do military, which was 3 days. They used to do short jumping. They used to do everything. And then, of course, at the end of my career, I went with talked with Mr. Nuno Oliveira, that you know, at that time was a teacher of everybody in Portugal. Mm-hmm. And he used to ride 19 horses a day. It will give you a little dimension of the man. And he certainly read every single book that they were there. At that time, when I arrived there in 75, 74, 75, there was 3 men around him that were a very good friend of his for a long time. There was a Professor da Costa that was there. There was Diogo de Bragança, who wrote that fantastic book, Équitation, Tradition Française. And then there was the vet that created the school in Reres de la Frontera. And then he created the school in Portugal after they were kicked out by the Spanish. Therefore, those 3 people were absolutely extraordinary. They worked with a mystery, and their game was to take a very, I hate to say that, but a very bad horse. They had a party, and they would show that poor guy coming out of the field, and he was like not too good, and not to this, and not to that. And of course, they used to drink and make jokes. Oh, you will never piaffe. Oh, you will never do this. Oh, you will never change. Oh, you will never. And then, of course, having a party a year later when that horse came, absolutely glorious, doing everything that they wanted to do. Therefore, that was their passion, to study everything for that particular horse that they had, and then created these things who was just absolutely fantastic. And when you see how much I know you go to, as I say, you go to Portugal, you have to go to Queluz, the Palácio de Queluz.
Absolutely, beautiful place.
In the Palácio de Queluz, where the school was before, now they have the young horses there. You have to go to the library there. They bought the library of Don Diogo, the Bragança. They have all the books of everything, and it's fantastic because it's an actual library. You can come here and ask for a book, and you can actually touch him and read him and work with it. But you can understand when you go into that place how much incredible the knowledge of those people were. They could speak German, they could speak French, of course, they speak Spanish, they speak Portuguese, German. They knew, they read everything that was on the subject. And when you have this incredible amount of knowledge apply the correct way, that's what classical is. If you go to Vienna, for example, that I know very little, I have to confess, but Vienna came from de la Guérinière. They used to come from the French, with the shoulder in and all that. And if you know the Lipizzan, they definitely need a lot of shoulder in and a lot of good shoulder in to help them, and so forth, so on. But they lost it over the years. They had some great people and great time, and now the great people, as we know, went to America to teach other people to do that, and left home was really not something very important. Saumur was in France, is a great place. Now it's more civilian than military, therefore they have more consistency a little bit in what they are doing. The headman right now, as I say, pay attention to be better yourself before you talk to your horse, which I compliment him on him. The Spanish that was taught by the Portuguese at the beginning in Resta Frontera have a beautiful show. I regret, and I don't want to sound bad, I regret their Spanish because it's harsh. It's too harsh for me. It's too harsh. I remember bringing some friend of mine watching the work that they do, and they sometimes go into a brutality that is not necessary. And I regret that. I really regret that. And the involvement with the Olympics and all that does not make things easier. Therefore, I hope that everything will get better as people mature into their own thinking. It's a little bit my thought about the virus, that we have now. I hope that everybody would mature into a more understanding thinking and a better thinking for everybody. Therefore, I hope that everything is going to go the proper way on, if I can say that. For classical,
well, this virus has definitely given a lot of people the chance for reflection, for sure.
Exactly.
Sitting still and slowing down and really reflecting on life and on schedules and priorities.
And classical has a lot to do with thinking, with deep thinking, with meditation on what is. It is a very modern thought, very modern thought. But the people have to go there and study, sit and study, and you can't go. It's I've been here for a little while now, and the people used to say, "Oh, I want to have my horse on the bit," about 40 years ago, yeah. And then now you go to clinic and they say, "Well, I want Passage and Piaf today." You're like, "Yes, of course," but it's not really what it is all about. And they need to know that walking is okay and trotting is okay and everything is okay nicely. And then after that, sure, the Passage Piaf is there, knowing which horses they are dealing with. Which is
Yeah. Well, the knowing it, the studying it, understanding the theory, like you related it to music. I think that's really important. And I know Charles de Country talks all the time that, the student that doesn't understand theory is a student that you can't teach. which, makes a lot of sense. If you don't know how it's all working, then what good is it if you get it anyway?
Yeah. And you know what? As I was saying at the beginning of the talk, you ride the way you are. Therefore, if you have been formed in the military, therefore we have French people who came from the Cadre Noir, and they are military people, and then they come out of the military people, and they want to be sweet, a troubadour type of people. Well, they are not troubadour. They are military people, and it's hard when you spend your life in the military to pretend that life is not military. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. De Comfy is the same. They went into the form. They were all formed in the army and in the officer cavalry. They had a way of standing, a way of believing, a way of this is beautiful. This is just as everybody has his own history and his own thinking. The very important part is to feel good in your body and relax into what you do. And if you don't like it, change it. Change it. If you don't like something, if you don't change it. Don't bang your head against it. Just change it. Say, this is not for me. I don't understand it. Or go to somebody and say, look, I am. I do this and that and that. And then find somebody that will help you to don't see it as a confrontation, that they will see it as a chance to change, to look at it in a different way. I love the Portuguese people, and I certainly love the mystery. But as you know, they are not angels. They are tough people. They're a little sweeter than the Spanish, no question. But they are, they are tough people, and it would be nice to have some really oops. I thought we left.
Oh, I still see you there.
You can see me? Okay, I don't see you, therefore that's no problem. If you see.
Okay, maybe it's a challenge on my end. I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay. I don't see him anymore. We will just wait a minute.
Okay, I think we're okay. It looks like we're still going. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can see you now. You are already another. Want to leave a joint this one? Yes or no? Do you want to leave and join this one? Yes. No.
I think we want to stay.
We're good. Are you good? I'm good.
I'm good.
Back. I was just talking about the Portuguese people, and especially the young people now who are really into the modern dressage thinking for their horses, and I understand it very well. But there's a great amount of softness to learn from the people that knew that in Portugal. There was a lot of softness that happened that now is I love the Portuguese school. The man in charge does very well. He's a good friend of mine, and they are very nice young men, and I really enjoy them. The working equitation, on the contrary, now is becoming really every horse is overbent. Every horse is overbent. Why? Why does people who know say you cannot ride your horse that way? If your horse is on a kind of a pelham type of situation and they are overbent, and you see horses overbent everywhere, not just in Portugal, everywhere, all around the world. You see them in competition, they're overbent, and nobody says anything. Everybody thinks it's okay. Well, it's not okay. As an instructor, if the horse is overbent, you have to say, excuse me, no, change that. Put your hands higher, more energy, do whatever you are, turn him loose, whatever you have to do. But you cannot have those horses overbent all the time, because as you know, if the horse is overbent, his mind is not there anymore,
right?
And they tune you out. For that,
and they have the tendency, from my experience, those overbent horses will have the tendency to come into the shoulder, right? And then our self-carriage is gone. Now we're on the forehand, and we've got all those issues that come along with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have, now that we're kind of on this roll, I love this roll. We have a question that came in from a listener just now, and I think it's a great time for this as we're talking about standing up, right, for the horse. And as we're talking about the instructor taking ownership and following the rules and that sort of thing. A question came in from Madison, and she says, what's a piece of advice that you would give to a young professional?
Wow, a good question. I have a lot of young professionals who come to me, and then they stay a year, they stay 2 years, they stay 5 years. Sometimes we can't get rid of them. No, I'm joking. I think as a young professional, you need to decide what is important for you. Yeah, if you want to do competition, well, go to Germany. I hate to say that, but Germany, see what they do, and if you like it, well, that's what you have to do. If you decide that you want a kind of a true relationship with the horses, find an instructor that has the same mentality that you have. Yeah. After that, I hate to go there, but I will go there. There is I know you come from the Western background, yourself, and there's a lot of Western dressage people who come in now because that's good. They at least they do something with the horses. Exciting is good. Therefore, I'm all for it. But they need to understand what we do is different than what they do. You need to for any individual, including that young lady who want to be a professional, you have to say, what is your goal? What is your goal? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? And they need, and then generally they say, oh, I don't know. Well, no, you have to know. You have to sit on the pillow in a quiet place on the top of the mountain if you want to, and start to say, what do I want to do? Some people want to teach, some people want to ride, some people want to show. What do you want to do? And if you visualize yourself at the best of what you can do, what is that going to be?
That's perfect. That's great. That's something really important that we need to think about.
Playing with a garucha, or is it you walking up the mountain down the happy, who is doing nothing on long grain and having your horse eating grass, which is nothing wrong with that. What do you want to do? And I think that going to professionals who have the same kind of goal that you have is a good approach. As I said, when I was young, I learned a lot of things that I did not want it to do. But I learned it because you need to learn it, okay? If you have a person who bring you a fantastic Grand Prix horse and it happened to be German trained, yeah, well, you need to be able to ride that horse. And then after you rode that horse, well, we can improve this. We can improve that. Maybe we put him lighter because obviously you can't hold him in position. You can't do this, you can't do that. But let me help you for this and that. But you need to know how those mechanics work. And they are, there's nothing to do with the horses. That's the way they have been trained. And in everywhere yesterday I saw this young lady now riding without a bridle is a wonderful thing. But this young lady arrived and she did a big gallop and big that, and then she was doing the spinning around, right and left and stuff. And this, well, it is spectacular, but when you know how it's done, it is not that spectacular. It is not that spectacular. It is just like, actually, I really don't like it too much. It's exploitation of horses in the wrong way. It happened in Western, it happened in the polo field, it happened in the racing, it happened everywhere. Therefore trying to, sorry, my dog is having a talk. Can you put him on?
That's a guest appearance, huh?
Yes, just hold on. I'm going to come back. Here we go. Right? Come on, little boy. That's it. Sorry, I have this is my wife's dog. It's a big, mean Doberman. That's not true. It's sweet. He has a big bark. Did you see that?
Hey, he does have a big bark, doesn't he?
Therefore, as a young professional, just feel what you want to do and then try. And the goal is to find that teacher that will take you on a side and you have the time to learn and go for it. Read the most as you can. The same thing, you have to read a lot of books, and then a lot of books you are going to say, I don't like that. I don't,
Yeah,
there's something
right.
wrong with that. But you need to know what other people did before and how they understand it, how they understand it.
Well, and when you go and you give your time, you give yourself to these professionals, as you say, these maybe mentors, we might think of them as,
Yes.
it may completely change what you want to do. You might decide that on a professional level, you don't even like that idea anymore.
Yeah. Very, very true. This is a very hard business. This is to be authentic and to keep your belief clean, if I can say that. It's a lot of strength. You know, you're a professional yourself. You know, we have a lot of occasion to do things that we don't want to do, and then you just say no. But you need to have your reputation of what you do and what you don't do, and that's it. You know.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Anyway. Oh yes, good luck, Madison, for sure. So another question came in, and I love this question. This is a question from Tanya in New Zealand, and she asks, when a horse is struggling emotionally, how do you meet his needs? I know we've been talking about some things kind of on the other side, but let's dive into this a little bit if we can. Yeah. If a horse is struggling emotional, how do we meet his needs?
Well, this is a very good question. I think the important thing is you need to know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to have this big thing emotionally disturbed. Well, you know, we have a lot of emotionally disturbed people, and we have a lot of animals. Therefore, we need to know at which level it is and for what it is. Yeah. Generally, for the horses, if they are disturbed, is because something happened to them before in their training or in their relationship with the past owner that was distressed. Therefore, you need to know as much as you can what's happening. And if you don't know, then you have, as I say always, you have to treat those horses like baby horses, like young horses that don't know anything. Therefore, you believe, you take him from the field and you bring him in and you teach him how to behave in the stall. And you move him to the stall on one side or the other. And you teach him how to lead in a small paddock or in a small indoor. He leads to the right, and then you don't forget to lead to the left. Just treat him like a baby horse. Treat him like he knows. And generally, they are going to tell you what's wrong with it. They're going to tell you, well, I don't like to do that. And you say, okay, well, then why? And then you are going to go to why they react a certain way. And then in a very open mind and open heart, you are going to discover things about your friend. It's just having a friend that has problem. He cannot talk to you or doesn't want to talk to you. And you need to find out. Therefore, guess what? Treat him like a baby. Start all over again, like you don't know anything, and then you start the walking with them. You start the moving in the stall. You start the little baby lunging. Yes, you start the working hand. The working hand is phenomenal to know what is happening with the horse, mentally, physically, emotionally. Yeah. They will tell you exactly what leg or what problem is or where it is, just by working in hand. Just do the pillar, as you know, the pillar work. They will tell you. They will tell you that leg is working. They will tell you that shoulder is blocked. They will tell you my head is so up, I can't do it. They will tell you stuff, and then try to listen. Try to see what they are trying to tell you, but treat them like they do nothing. It's a good start.
Yeah, I love that. Taking them back to the beginning and evaluating, seeing where that spot comes up.
Absolutely. And you know, I hate to say that, but you can do that with your partner anytime. There's a problem. There's a problem. You know what I mean? Therefore, sometimes you have to say, hey, you know, let's clean slate.
Perfect. So a couple great questions have been popping in. So thank you to those listening live for your questions coming in. This is fantastic. So Jennifer asks, at the Spanish riding school in Vienna, they don't believe in doing leg yield. What are your thoughts on the leg yield?
Ooh, well,
Uh-oh.
she needs to read my here it comes again.
Oh.
She needs to read Dressage for the New Age. I have in my book the whole chapter on it. Yes, I was in England. I will a quick story. I was in England when Major Bolterstein, I don't know if you remember that name. Major Bolterstein was the man that won gold and silver and bronze's medal for the Olympic like 3 and 4 and wonderful. And was very, very old at that time and very impressive rider still at that time. Was great. And then and that was Colonel Nablus. Colonel Nablus was at the head of the FEI at that time. And in England, as you know, love the eventing, yes. And the dressage in eventing, that was not their best thing that they could do. Eventing was running and having a good time. Dressage was not their best. Therefore, they did their dressage test, and they had these half passes, as they used to call them, those 2-track half passes, and they all had the wrong bend, of course, because they no okay or whatever, and the horses were not skilled enough. Therefore, Colonel Navarez talked to me and said, in French, what movement could we find that was like heel that he wanted to do? And I said, well, we don't have that. We don't have that. We have the pas de côté, where the horse simply is straight and goes sideways. Yes. Okay. Simple pas de côté, no bend, but certainly not a counter bend. The counter bend is anti-classical and no use. If I always say, if I can use a leg heel for something, I would use it, but it's no use. If you have a shoulder in and if you have a haunches in, why do you need leg heel? That doesn't make sense to me at all. And again, if somebody can prove me wrong, I would love to use something that can help me or help the horse. But that doesn't work. That, it's just like the people who do rising trot now for the sideways movement. They do shoulder in, rising trot. Well, that doesn't exist either. Okay, there's minimum of collection, minimum of roundness. People do shoulder in canter. This is ridiculous. The basic position of a horse who is cantering cannot accept the shoulder in movement. He goes very well for the haunches in, straight haunches in, but the shoulder in does not exist in the canter. Therefore, we have all those things who pop up because people don't know and they sit on the horses and they do anything and everything. They should read and they should understand and they should ask the question, why this is not correct? And have somebody classically trained who will tell them, well, we don't need to do this because of that and that and that. And now we people who are teaching are people who are successful in competition, and that doesn't make you an instructor, and it doesn't make you a great person. Even if you have one horse that's at some success, you need to be a professional, knowing and able to explain all those different things. And that's simple. This is not that complicated. People think, oh, it's so complicated. No, it's not. Horses are like 10, 12 years old kids. You need to have a language who is simple. Okay? Horses cannot play chess, right. Kids cannot play chess nowadays. And they are simple. You need to have a simple language and a simple way of presenting things in order for them to understand. That's that simple. Therefore, the leg yield, again, if I could have a use, I will do, but you don't have any shoulder in and haunches in. And then if you do your haunches in on the diagonal, you call it an half pass or 2-track or whatever you want. But it's all the same. You have the shoulder in with very special movement and very phenomenal movement. I have another chapter on the shoulder in for my new book. I say we have to rediscover the modern shoulder in. And I said, how to do that? By find out what the old one was. Old again, where the horse can give all what he has. And then you all the other movement, the renvers, the travers, tail to the wall, half pass, all those things are the same. They go in a certain direction, in a direction of the bend, but they are all the same. Therefore, you try to you have to make it simple for the horses to understand. That's the point.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yes.
Well, this goes into a question also that's really great. Jocelyn sends in a question. What are your thoughts on discipline and boundaries in training? And what are your thoughts on giving treats?
Oh, wow, that's a good one. That's really fun. I'm not a treat guy. I don't give too much. No, after a good day of work, I always have a big box of apples, and then I give apples, cut the apples, and give them in the store. I deal a lot with stallions. Mm-hmm. Therefore, food is a very tricky thing with them. Yeah, you need to make sure that it's done properly, or you have problems. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I don't do treats too much. Boundaries is like you have time to play and time to work. Well, I love to play with my horses. Sometimes I launch them and I go boo boo, and they jump up and down and they do this and they do that. I mean, just keeping the joy in the work is fundamental for me. That joy must be present. If it's not joyful, don't do it. It's not important. You have to do enjoy for the horses. You have to play, and then when you have to work, it's just like a little bit like when you go to school and learn how to dance. You have to learn where to put your feet there. Yeah, and again, you ride the way you are. Therefore, some people are more strong and hard and undisciplined. If I can, very too much discipline. Or then you have the opposite of the little ladies who love their horses so much they don't want to do too much, because they don't want to hurt their feelings. Therefore, you have to find the right amount of if you want to dance, you need to be a leader. You need to sit down and figure out what is a leader. The leader just has to play the music. Yes, the leader has to be the number one. In the animal world, you have number one, number two. You have all those little things that you have to understand very simply. And then when you have established that, then you have two people dancing, one leading and dancing with the other. And then you learn to have that visualization in your head, precise visualization of what you want your horse to do. That's really is important. The more clarity you have in you, of course, the better the horse is going to understand. Right?
Perfect. I love that answer. So we talk about clarity. We talk about understanding theory. Judy sends in a question. What book would you suggest someone to read for classical dressage and what the movements are?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I think you should read all the books.
There you go.
And the one you don't like, you give to somebody you don't like. No, I'm joking. People said it depends also who you are. Some people are able to read between the lines and enjoy this and enjoy that. I read a lot. Yeah, and I try to understand a lot. All the Baucher's book, and the different method, and all the Steinbrechts and the La Guérinière and all the classic. Yeah. I think you should read the classic and then forget about it. Read it, just try to understand it at the moment, and say when you go and be with your horse and be with your horse. The modern book that I really enjoy into what I call the physical riding is the book by Diogo, Équitation Tradition Française, Équitation of Tradition, which is now in English. And that's, to me, the book of the century. It's a very, very, very good book. You need to read it and reread it. The amount of information on that book is fabulous. I don't know. That was the one that was in French. One of the original thing in French was my friend on top of it. I'm doing that. Before this is a wonderful book. I think that all the Mestre's book and Nuno Oliveira's book are very light and wonderful as far as enjoying what it is. You have I think read a lot of them and see what you feel about it. I think the more I enjoy, of course, my original book, Dressage for the New Age, and now is an old book for me. I think that would give you some pretty basic stuff to understand on a lot of aspects, because it came directly from my time with the mystery up there. But that's interesting. And then, as I say, people are the way they are. They write the way they are. They write books the way they are. Some books are very, very complicated, I can tell you. Some books I can hardly understand, and I can understand how the horse can understand. Therefore, there's a lot of people go places where they have to go depending on who they are. I have a hard time giving name of books, because from the physical part that you have to learn at the beginning, then you go to the mental part, and then after that you go to the spiritual part. The transition, mental, physical and mental, is what you're looking for. Find a book or find a teacher that will make the connection for you. Connection for you, not for him, not for the teacher, but for you. What is the connection? How you can mentally allow yourself to believe that's what's going to happen if you do very little. And that's really a big challenge for us.
And so much also, it seems, the way that someone will say something. You might say it one way, I might say it another way, the next guy down the street might say it a different way. We might all be talking about the same things, but the way the guy down the street says it makes sense, right? It clicks for that person, right?
Correct. That's the beauty of life. Depending on who you are, you always would find a teacher. And I think the most, if I can stress that the most, is find a teacher that you enjoy. Not that you just sort of say, oh, he is so this and so that, or reputation this, reputation that. That somebody who can be your friend, and somebody that can feel what you feel and help you there. I think that is the most important. Your choice in the teacher is very important. Very important.
Yes. That's fantastic. Another great question just came in from Colton. He wants to know, how would you describe the spiritual element of working with the horse? I feel like this could be a whole other conversation in itself.
It's my new book. Okay. Very good. Thank you for that question. It's wonderful, because that's what I am working and studying right now for me. Well, you have to create a space in your own being where you are comfortable. When you create that space through meditation, through prayers, through walking in the woods, through whatever your practice is, when you find that spot with you that is calm and quiet, then you can share it with the horse. And as I was saying before, sharing that with the horse is very easy, because your horse is in the present moment all the time. Generally, people are not. Right. Therefore, the big effort for the people is to be in the present moment, in what I call the bubbles. The bubble is that very wonderful place where you have that stupid smile on your face and you look like somebody who is too happy for his own good. You sit there and you are just okay. You feel okay with most of the thing that is happening. And then you want to share that with your horse. Yeah. I'm going to tell you something stupid. I watched that wonderful man on YouTube the other day. His name is Mooji, Moogi. He's a wonderful man, and you have to go on that thing. And he had this thing about how very much the same question. What is spirituality? Where do you get it? How do you where is God? How do you pray? All those questions. And he said, This is very simple. You put your hands together like this, and he's a wonderful face guy. You put your hand like this and you say, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And he says, you don't need to know why you say thank you. Doesn't matter. Just say Thank you. And actually, the man apparently has an ashram in Portugal, but I did not know, south of Lisbon. And he said, you put your hands together like this, and you say, thank you. Mm-hmm. And he has a wonderful face. And try it, just with no reason, being comfortable in a place, and just say thank you. Something is going to happen. Something is happening. That's what I call creating the bubble.
Okay.
Yeah? I can go on, not here on your program, and we can talk about that another. There is a meditation on the golden balls that we do also, but it's another subject that we share person to person, if I can say that. And that's also a help to be in the bubble and to be okay in the bubble, smiling into the bubble, and able to share that bubble with your friend. Could be a dog, could be a person, could be a horse. And then you put this person into this golden bubble there that you have together. And then suddenly, something is going to happen to you. You are going to feel different. Yeah. And you are going to have, big word, a change of consciousness. You are going to see things differently. You are going to have that smile will to stick to your face more and more and more. And you are going to have that sort of a compassion feelings about a lot of things. And it could be just so simple as a flower, as a bird, as your dog, as whatever it is. It's so simple. And then you start to understand that everything you do, we talk about music before, dancing, all what you do is the same thing. We just apply it to the horses. I remember teaching in China and having the same thinking. And they used to say, well, this is our thing. This is our belief, the Zen, this is our belief. This is what it is. And I say, yes, it is. This is yours, but you forgot about it. And certainly you don't use it for the horses. I am trying to help you that the horse is telling you what it feels about you being together there. And then suddenly it's totally, they go me, him, and suddenly it's him, me, all that changes, but it's beautiful. And then this spirituality, which is a big word, yeah, it's get really in touch with your spirit, meaning who you really are. And that shared with the horse is phenomenal. That's why those horses, in the Arab world, the horses are the closest to God.
Yes.
They believe that those horses were God, were part of God. That was such a big thing for them as a pure spirit. Therefore, this is all that you have to share at different levels. And as I say, you don't need to passage piaf. I mean, it's better if you passage piaf, it's wonderful, but you don't have to. Walking or trotting or doing your shouldering or that, as long as it's put a smile on your face and you're happy and your horse is happy. Hallelujah. It's a good God. Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. That's fantastic. I love your enthusiasm about it. It's infectious.
Well, yes, it is. But you know, why are we here? I don't want to carry on my guru talk, but why are we? We are here to enjoy and share joy and enjoyment for everybody. And the horses help us do that. That's why when they do something wrong to the horses, it hurts me. It makes me really crazy. I cannot take it. They are teaching us so much of who we are and how we can get better. Let's give them a chance to do that. That's what I'm share that.
Perfect. I love it. I love this. I want to be respectful of your time. I've got some wrap-up questions for us here. If we're good to go for those.
Sure, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay. So we've talked about lots of thoughts for riders already, and I love that. But what would you say is one actionable tip or thought for riders that they can think about or work on today?
Well, they have to read the look at the interview again. They have all the secret.
Right.
They have all the secret. They have to learn to smile and to enjoy life, and to offer that to their horses. That's the best.
Perfect.
And choose again. Go back to the thing. If you get alone, a little lost, I know you are, and I am. I have a phone number, and now we have email. If you have a real question, please, DominiqueBarbier.com or whatever it is, or Barbier Farm, whatever it is, AOL.com, or go on the site, and then go into your question. I would love to help anybody. I do help anybody.
Perfect. Good. That's great. What's a recent book that you've read or video that you've watched?
The recent book that I read, it was
And it
actually.
doesn't have to be horses.
I know. Actually, it was all these controversial things about virus and how people in the different type of virus. Sorry, I don't put it correctly. The different type of vaccine that they are planning for different viruses. You know, there's more than just all vaccines are not the same, and some are helping you to do the things. The other one are really the disease into your body and do a lot of troubles sometimes. But I can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of those different things. But there's a lot of different way to find to discover a vaccine for the problem that we have right now. And I find that fascinating that we arrive at the time that we are now, 2020, and we have this little thing happening that paralyzed the entire world. You know, this is extraordinary in good and in bad. Therefore, again, take the occasion of sitting and trying to understand better what we did wrong or what we could do right and better for next time, especially for the kids, especially for the new people who come in, you know. We need definitely to be prepared for those things much better.
Yes, absolutely. What is something that the horse has given to you?
They give him that, you know, which.
We froze up.
It's that you had in you that you did not know. They tell to you the true nature of who you are. Sometimes in a very odd way, sometimes in a not very pleasant way. You know, I remember being a young man and have a lot of problems with a lot of things, and I didn't like it, and that's not pleasant. But they were there to tell you, it's not the way to go. I had this extraordinary horse called Don Giovanni, and he taught to me 90% of all what I know. And this horse just he gave me my soul back. That's what I can say. Yeah. And now he helps me to teach all the other horses and all the other people with that. I mean, it's not just him. It's just he's teaching now through me, and that I find that extraordinary for a horse. He was an Andrade horse. He was a Portuguese horse.
Okay. Yeah. So his influence continues on. That's perfect.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you know, great things never stop. I always say to people, whatever you choose to discover or to study, choose something with no end. There's no end to what we want to learn with the horses. Even if you learn with that horse, take another one. You have to start all over again in a different way. Therefore, this appetite, this curiosity for life, I think it's called life. It's all what it is.
Yes, perfect. Well, that actually ties us into this next question, that this is a constant journey of discovery and improvement. What area of your own horsemanship or self-development are you working on or wanting to improve right now?
Well, I'm going to go back to my original question. I think that I think that I hate to say that, it sounds really terrible, but I'm going to say it. Physically, I really don't want to do anything with the horses more. I think I rode all those horses that I wanted to read and do all my stuff and do all the Grand Prix and all the circus stuff and all that stuff. I think it's fun. It's wonderful. Do I have any appetite to do more of that? No, I don't. I still improve my mental imagery in order for me to do less physical. That's a constant giving. And then my dedication to lightness, to teach lightness correctly, that is such a huge thing, because there's a lot, as we were talking at the beginning, there's a lot of people who talk about it, but very few people who know about it. Every horse could be light. Most of the time, lightness is given by the rider, where people expect the horse. No. I mean, there's a whole protocol, if I can say that, with lightness. And I have what I call with my people the obsession of the lightness. You sit on your horse, and if he's in a good position, if he's on the bit, drop the contact, drop the contact, drop the contact, constantly train yourself to get that lightness better and better and better. And then your horse will get better and better with that thinking. And then of course my goal now is to go more and more into this bubble I was telling you about, to be in the bubble, to stay in the bubble longer time, to be there with the horses on that level, and then let them teach you whatever there is to know after that. And I don't know, to tell you the truth. If you ask me the question, I don't know, but I know there's a lot more there. And if you have the time, and if you have the dedication, and if you have the practice, sometimes nothing happened. Don't be disappointed. Sometimes your practice is not a good practice today, and then that's the way it is, and that's part of the practice to travel. But then more and more you would feel that oneness that everybody is looking for, oneness with yourself, surrounding, oneness with everything, and then hopefully try to give that to as many people as you can, to just introduce them to it. You say, hey, there's a door there. You can go through that door and see what happened. And then you have to back off your tendency to push them there. You can't push them. Yeah. You have to say, there's a door there, then there's that. You just go there. And then when you are ready, go through the door. But it's a very, very personal thing. And as a teacher, you have to be very careful about inviting the people to go to another level when they are ready, and then let them do it. This is very important, to have this respect of the other for learning when they want to learn.
Yes. So true.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's see. This next question might be my favorite. If you had a giant billboard advertisement for the whole world to see, what would be the message you would put on that?
Drink some wine. No, I'm joking.
I'll go with that one.
You go with that one? Okay. Yeah, and my wine. I should say that with my wine there. Okay. Giant billboard, and what to put there? Ooh, that's a good question. This is a very good question. I'm going to be a terrible person to answer this question, but I would have a tendency to leave my billboard totally white. Yeah. I think that when we realize something, then there is nothing there, and then there is something there again. Therefore, it's a little bit of a Zen thinking there, but whatever you will show on the blackboard should be just an expression of beauty, should be an expression of togetherness, should be an expression of compassion, should be an expression of a lot of people would get a picture of smiling Buddha for them, because that makes them smile and that makes them happy. Big fat happy Buddha, yes. Whatever would make the people happy. To that very point, I would think about it. Next time I talk to you, I would work on it. But for right now, I reserve the right to have it totally white.
I like that. I think that's just a great answer as well. I love it. And when in doubt, drink wine.
That's it. Exactly.
Perfect. Great. Dominique, this has been an absolute blast. How can people find out more about you? How can they access you? I know we talked about your website. How can people reach out to you after this is over if they want to learn more?
Well, we have a site, I think, called Barbier Farm at AOL.com. And we have a blog, and I am doing now a small little talk to do a kind of a master class about explaining one point by one point. I explain my little book, my little manual that I have. Therefore, I take step by step this. And what we are going to have is we're going to have some sort of subscription where people will be able to pick those little 10 minutes, 15 minutes videos, and they could have them in their collection and go back to them. Because a lot of what we do is a repetition of very simple things.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we'll have that. We have, of course, my foundation. Yes, that is a great thing to try to keep the art of riding alive, to know what it is and to defend it. Therefore, I have another site for this that you can find on the Barbier Farm site.
Okay.
What else do we have, Kat? Tell me. Thank you. There we go. Look at this.
Oh, good. Perfect. Your cue card.
Yes, of course, we have virtual lesson. That's what we do more and more now. Yes. You can send me a video of your horse, and then I will tell you. Or now we do a lot of Zoom. I was this morning zooming into New York and into Colorado. Therefore, it's a different way to teach. But I think we need to get used to it. And as soon as I am in the same situation, as soon as we can travel, we will travel again safely. But for right now, I don't think it's good for anybody. Therefore, this online lesson is a good thing. I missed. I was supposed to be in Switzerland, and I was supposed to be everywhere, and I am home, which is wonderful. I am home. Therefore, I try to do more and more of this virtual lesson. I did a lot of before that happened, and I'm going to carry on because it's very good. I'm going to do some intensive. Intensive is somebody coming here and ride my horses for 10 days. I want you for 10 days. You ride at least twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, and you stay there. And I promise you, you will know why you are riding good, and you will know why you are not riding good. You will know exactly what you have to. Yes. And day after day after day after day after day, you can see your progress into these intensive courses, and that works very well. The people are really happy about it, and then they come back 6 months later for another 10 days. Bam, 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 bam. And I have some horses that will be able to make you feel a lot of different things that you don't know even existed. Therefore, that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun.
That's a fantastic way to do that. And then the horse is the teacher for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. As an instructor, you just translate. You start to translate what the horse wants to have, wants to do, and then you just tell them that's what he's getting right now. There's too much of this or too much of that, or not enough of this or not enough of that. You just translate what the situation is, and then help them to figure it out, to put all the little puzzle together. And then when they have all little puzzle together, you tell them they don't need to do that anymore. They need to stay in position. They need to stay in position with no action. It's one of my big things. Position, no action.
Yeah.
Position, no action. When you arrive to have a position with the horse with such and with a rider with such, then guess what? The descend de main, descend de jambe come from there. Position, no action.
Yeah. I like that. That's great.
But I'm be pointed to something else there. Facebook, Barbier Farm. We have a Facebook? Facebook, Barbier Farm. You can have me on the...
You respond.
Yeah, if you want to have anything on Facebook, apparently I am not too much of a Facebook kind of a guy, but I'm sure a lot of people just do that and would respond with Facebook. And a lot of time people just send me a little email, and please put your phone number on the email that you send, because I am one of the person that do the one finger email, and my finger get very tight. Therefore, I just like pick up the phone and say, "Hey, how are you? Let's talk about that." It's so much easier to do it by my one finger is getting really tough.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
And I have to tell you, Patrick, I have to compliment you for your program, because I think what you do is wonderful, to have all those people able to express themselves or what they love and how they love it and how they want to teach. I think that it's a great thing. And I am going to tell you something that may help you and help everybody there. I have a great friend who has, I think, a TV channel in Spain, and he used to be in Brazil before that. And the name of Tribuna, Tribuna, Lusitana. Tribuna Lusitana. His name is Jose. I advise you to contact him. He has a lot of same love that you do. He interviews a lot of people in English and in English, of course, and he's dedicated to all the horses all his life. And it's a great program, just like what you do, to know a lot of other people. Therefore, I think you will enjoy it very much.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you. I will definitely look him up. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, again, thank you so much for joining me for this. It's been great to get to know you this way. It's been great, chatting and emailing back and forth and that sort of thing. But this time here that you've given to not only to me, but to everyone through this platform and through the world, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it very much so. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to do my closing here. If you'll hang on just a minute, I'll be right back with you.
No problem.
Perfect. Gang, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to episode number 51 of Talking About Horses. And I really appreciate you giving Dominique and I your ear for this time. Please remember that if you've missed any of it, you can access the full broadcast through Facebook, eventually through YouTube, from iTunes, or by streaming it directly from my website by accessing the Talking About Horses page from the Education drop-down menu. Through whatever platform you're listening, please be sure that you give us a rating, a comment, a review, maybe even a share with some of your friends. Thank you so much, gang, and be sure to tune in next time. We'll see you again soon.